Yo. Welcome back to the Relistenables. We getting it out here today. Trevor Pfister with me for like the fucking fourth time. And then your boy is always Steven Moustaris. And dude, I was thinking about it last night before we were like getting all excited for this. And I was sitting there like, the last couple ones that we've done, we've gotten away from rap. We did rock, we did Kings of Leon, and then we just did the good old John Legend Get Lifted album. So I feel like it's only right for you and I to get back kind of to our little rap roots. And honestly, this one kind of hits home too in a lot of ways because this is a 2012 classic where you and I graduated high school this year. And, which is crazy. Now it's 10 years. It's been 10 years now, but we're going with the 7th mixtape from the legend Malcolm McCormick, aka Mac Miller, and we're doing Macadelic, which is why we got the nice little glasses on. We getting funky out here today.
Oh.
And dude, I'm trying to. So I don't just to kind of set the thing real quick. This dropped March 23rd of 2012, so literally a couple months before we're about to graduate. I remember bumping this left and fucking right. This follows Blue Slide Park. It was our first album, and dude, I was sitting there re-listening to it because I listened on Apple Music at first. I wanted to get the Apple Music one in because they remastered it and dropped it in 2018. And then I was sitting there and I'm like, hold up real quick. This shit sounds different. So I'm like,
sound a lot
different. I went and I actually downloaded Dat Piff. Shouts out to DP, and jammed to the original 2012 version. And there's so many differences. It's fucking ridiculous.
So
it's the lyrics and shit are the same. But they took out not all of them, but pretty much all the skits that are at the end of the songs.
Yeah,
I have those written down. We'll get into those. They changed a lot of the beats to make them a little more friendly for them to, I think, without them getting sued and shit. Because it was a mixtape originally, so I don't think you can actually technically get in too much trouble off a mixtape because you're not necessarily making money at first. And then
because you're not profiting off the sale of the record.
Yeah, 100%.
It's more of a promotional thing. You're like giving something out for
a billion %.
hoping that they will, in return, come buy your album.
And this is a heavy sampled album or mixtape technically, but gets thrown into an album. So yeah, just so I made sure I was fully prepared for this one, I went crazy and I re-listened to not only the remastered version. Is this the one remastered technically?
Yes.
Okay.
The remastered.
And also, again, thank you for always having the vinyl. You're always on top of the shit. But yeah, I definitely wanted to go through, and I re-listened as well to the mixtape, the original version. And dude, talking about nostalgia, motherfucker. Listening to this album, I know we were texting a couple of the lyrics back and forth throughout the last week or two that we've been really honed in on doing this. And I just remember us both being like, kind of laughing at what we were sending to each other. So, man, like, I mean, we were heavy produced on this one. There's a bunch of producers, but the classic ID Labs, which if not many people know, but I think, honestly, I don't think many people know at all, but that's Big Germ's record or producing label. Or like pretty much they do their own little thing outside of this lab. And I think he's also at E-Dan, which we hear Mac shout out to E-Dan a lot. And then Sayez. And man, this album, or I keep wanting to say album, but I'm going to say mixtape because we're kind of talking about the 2012 version.
Right.
So us being in high school, I don't want to speak for you too much, but we kind of talked about this originally before too with Faces when we did that. I remember really listening. I love Mac Miller. He was like backpack rap. We've talked about this, but I really feel like I didn't listen to the lyrics as heavily, or at least didn't like understand them as much when we listened to this in 2012. Because I mean, I was kind of a young and naive kid. I was never into drugs, never into drinking at this time. I was so against it, and so like I really kind of didn't like, I guess, relate to what he was saying. So it was tougher for me to listen to it. But since the last 10 years, we've really dove into this. So like. I remember I don't want to say funny songs, but there's some comedy from Mac Miller in this mixtape that I would love to say. He gets pretty funny on here. And it's just a huge, like, basically, like it's called Macadelic. So it's just a huge like trip to me, basically. It's kind of going through a Mac Miller's like head through like maybe like a week in his life where he's just tripping balls and doing his thing and having fun. So like we'll go back to 2012. I always ask these. I love doing these things. But for you, because I've been talking way too much, but for you in 2012, what were the couple songs that really stood out to you? I think I know a couple because you and I were jamming this together, but like,
for me, when Macadelic first came out, I like listened through it all the way through, and the one that stands out to me was the question, and because like Mac at the time wasn't really known as like having like huge features, like he was
At
always
all.
featuring like his just people that were like coming up with him at the time. Like Kendrick Lamar at this time wasn't as big as he is.
Yeah.
So like when he was on songs, you're like, oh yeah, because they're tight, whatever. But Lil Wayne hops on that song, and like it's like holy shit. So then you have that moment of like, oh, Mac has like really gained a lot of respect in the rap game, and like it was just cool to watch or just like listen to that song because it is like a deep song, and then Wayne comes in and just does Wayne stuff
Oh,
and like kills it. But I would say that song and Thoughts from the Balcony,
phenomenal.
Vitamins. I mean,
Lucky ass bitch. I
yeah,
remember us
yeah.
laughing at that
I
one.
mean, Loud.
Yeah, Loud was iconic. Jesus Lord. I'm happy you bring this up though too because Blue Slide Park had no features. His album just came out in 2011, no features at all.
Right.
He did it all by himself, and I know he got like criticized for that album like heavily. And so, yeah, like you said, he comes out in 2012, and he does have this heavy, heavy, heavy list of features that we're gonna go through. But like we said, Kendrick Lamar's on this mixtape, which, like you said at the time, this is Kendrick's not Kendrick yet. Yeah, I know this year he actually does drop Good Kid, Mad City, but it was a little later in the summer, so still it's not Kendrick yet, and
Right.
it's like it's still Kendrick at the time before Good Kid, Mad City because I broke this down when I did Good Kid, Mad City, like his first couple mixtapes, like or albums technically they got turned into albums, but it was like him trying to find his own sound, and he wasn't so gangster yet. It wasn't gangster rap. He wasn't actually like Compton rap at the time. He was doing a lot of love songs. He was doing a lot of like Overly Dedicated was filled with like love music and like
Mm-hmm.
and almost like trippier vibes, kind of like Macadelic to be honest. So it's like him trying to find his own sound, and then clearly Good Kid, Mad City comes out. It's one of the greatest albums of all time, and it's pretty gangster rap if you like South Coast rap. So
Pretty good.
or West Coast rap. My bad, South Coast. It's funny, but yeah. And then I really like how you brought up Lil Wayne because I've always loved this about Macadelic on this mixtape. Like, well, let's not forget in '09 and 2010 because this comes out in 2012, recorded in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, Lil Wayne was I know he took over the early 2000s, especially after like Eminem and 50 kind of were like falling off. It was Lil Wayne's 2000 was Lil Wayne's, and then at this time he had I'm Not a Human and also Rebirth, which he was going a little more rock and he was changing up his sound. So I remember this being like a heavily criticized time for Lil Wayne's career. And I know in 2011, technically a couple months before this, but probably while he was recording this, the Carter 4 came out and that he kind of went back to his rap finally. But this on the question, this was like the first time that we've heard Lil Wayne kind of come back into a feature on rap. And I've always, like, as a Mac Miller head that you and I are, I've always loved, and I always bring it up all the time, is how Mac Miller brought Lil Wayne back to rap, basically. Like, I don't want to say it like that, because he's doing the Carter 4, he did do his own thing. But for features-wise, because he was doing a bunch of rock shit with, like, Nicki Minaj and, like, other people, and doing some, like, funny stuff, just making a lot of money, which I'm not hating on him. He's trying to find a new sound, and he's experimenting with music. That's why you gotta love these artists. But it was really cool to me to hear that, like, because we see the track list, you're like, oh shit, Lil Wayne's on here. Like, I can't wait to hear it. I was nervous because I'm like, if he brings a rock kind of flow to this, I'm gonna be pissed off. And then he comes out and Wheezy comes back. It's Wheezy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really, really love that. Like, I'm sorry for bringing it up too much, but like, it's true. Like, I thought for Mac Miller, a little white kid from Pittsburgh who backpack rap, and I mean, we'll get into this as well, but like, he's finally starting to transition into a little more. Like, he's always been lyrical, but, like, you know what I'm saying? A little, and, like, instead of being cheesy about, like, graduating high school, smoking weed on the bus.
When he first came in the game, like, he was just known in the rap game as, like, this cheesy high school rapper. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
So, for, like, Lil Wayne to, like...
Cheesy Mac with easy raps. Who the fuck is Mac Miller?
I just bought a new chopper.
No,
I treat it like an infant. So when he comes in and he's singing, bro, or not singing, but rapping, like, I was just like, holy crap. We just saw Matt go from the cheesy high school backpack rap, to this album that's like totally different and trippy and weird, and then you get Lil Wayne, which is a trippy dude himself, and he just, I mean, I don't know. It was just one of those moments where it was like, holy shit, Mac's here.
Seriously,
Like,
Mac has arrived. You know what I'm
Mac's
saying?
here.
Especially after Blue Slide Park. 'Cause I know you and I probably love Blue Slide Park, but it wasn't what it should have been for his first album, where he was hyping it up to be. So I think you'd probably agree with that. A lot of people do. Like, there's still a solid 4 songs off Blue Slide Park that I'll jam to, but a lot of them I was like, huh. Like, if we'd have took a couple, like probably 5 songs off of this mixtape and threw it on Blue Slide Park, we're sitting there like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, I thought, like, Thoughts from a Balcony kind of have that Blue Side Park feel a little bit. I wonder if that was kind of left over because, like,
could have been.
Because there's a couple songs on Blue Side Park that it kind of, like, gives you the vibes. But anyway, like, and then we see Cameron on here, who is very, very well respected in the rap game. I thought it was real funny. We got Sir Michael Rocks on here again because we did Faces and he's on there. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, I mean, we got, I think Joey Badass as well, a young Joey Badass.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's literally on America. Yeah, he's very young Joey Badass. So I know he went on, and nowadays a lot of people actually do fuck with him, but at this time, unheard of. So yeah, for me, I was right there with you. I always thought like Vitamins was really funny. I always thought like not fun, like it was comical in high school because we were laughing like take your vitamins.
Oh yeah, I had that
and
set as my ringtone for the longest time.
It was like
Austin hated it
with like the question. He goes step up on the mic and show him what you got, Tiger. Like just he does a lot of funny shit in this mixtape, which I love. But that goes to like for me like re-listening to it. And this, I mean, I've listened to it a lot. We listen to it all the time, especially in 2018. Sadly, when he passed away, I think like this came back really heavy, which I'll go into on numbers wise, but like because it makes it back in the Billboard Top 220 like after he died, which every single one of his projects did.
Oh yeah.
But like re-listening to it for real, dude. Like you kind of like because I know "Love Me as I Loved You" or "As I Have You" or something on the first song, the little like the French lady that's on there. It's that intro to me. I kind of wanted to bounce this off you. Do you think that could have maybe been the Divine Feminine's intro, and that would have been completely fine? Because there's a lot of like, we might get into the translation because it's a lot of French.
Yeah,
and shit.
I think that's where you're kind of seeing like maybe where he got that, where he was getting that idea from. Like,
yeah,
that
seriously.
was kind of like maybe something that he like, because if the overall kind of theme of Macadelic throughout like the whole thing is like almost like he's in a trippy lovemaking session. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which
because like if you look at the back of the album, it's in a heart shape, and then the cover is just what looks to be a big old orgy.
Yeah, that's all right. So this is the crazy thing. This entire mixtape has honestly like it has meaning clearly, but it's not as meaningful as some of Mac Miller's like projects because this is all about his love for drugs and partying and fucking having sex, doing all these crazy things. Like this is Mac doing lean, all this shit, tripping LSD, all this stuff. And on multiple songs on here, like Clarity and Morning After, it sounds like he's talking about a woman, but deep down it's about drugs. So that's the cool part because it's like really cool how he's basically calling his drugs women. And that's it's really cool. It's sad now. I mean, like we talked about on every single time that we've ever broken down a Mac Miller thing or talk about Mac Miller. When you go back and listen to his music, it's no shock that this happened, where he overdosed on drugs and shit. This man had a deep problem with drugs, loved it. At this time, especially in 2012, this is his intro to it. And you hear it in a couple songs where he's kind of telling him like he was messing around with some women. And they kind of like slipped him a whole new experience, which we think is LSD and lean as well at the same time. So, and it's because I'm gonna come back and haunt you every single day. Like he sends a bunch of shit, but it was really cool to look back into because at the time, like for me, like Clarity and The Morning After, always thought it was about women. But then I looked into it and you listen to it again and you're like, oh, this man's totally talking about drugs, which it is really cool. But we like how people get vulnerable on music. Like I love that's my favorite artists that get vulnerable, and I think that is really cool for him deep down to be this open about his love for drugs and everything. So, yeah, I mean, like there's honestly every single song in this album is about him and his love with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like Ignorant, I think with Cameron, that one's more about them just being ignorant as fuck with their money. Thoughts from a Balcony is like it's Mac talking about how he's on top of the rap game and like he's seeing it from the very top and he's alone and he's just feeling like he kind of questions it. That's one of my favorite songs. We'll get into that very deep, but he's questioning a lot about like what would happen if he wasn't living anymore. And this is like the first time, because that's what he gets deep into in all his music, like Swimming, Divine Feminine. We hear it everywhere, literally everywhere, Circles, everything that you will ever listen to again by him. Good AM. It's him really just sitting there like kind of understanding he's gonna die sooner or later. We're all gonna die, but you had a strong sense he knew he was gonna die. And he was always wondering about like how would his loved ones and his family and his team and everything, like how would they react without me being here. And Thoughts from a Balcony is like literally the first time that he's like opening his mind into that, which drugs can easily do. Like even weed can do that shit easily too. Yeah. Like if you smoke too much weed, like all the time, like that shit's gonna get you like tripping in your head all the time. Yeah. Like you're gonna be sitting there second guessing things, always wondering everything around you. Which I mean, I can talk from firsthand, but it's been really wild. So was there any like honestly, was there any song to you that like stuck out a little bit extra than maybe the past couple years, or like maybe the last 10 years? Like, yeah, because like in 2022, I guess us re-listening to it, like, was there any song that maybe like you kind of just heard differently in a different way?
Well, other than it being completely remastered and listening to like because what I'm saying is like other than the obvious changes.
Yeah, no, I get you there.
Yeah,
I get you there.
Like I would say 1 through 8 is I don't know, it's one of those ones where I like listen to it again, like especially when I went on my bike ride yesterday. It was like, I don't know, it just like keeps you on beat. It was just different. Maybe it was because I was like exercising, but it was just like, oh, I like this song a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, I would definitely say that one. My one big take, if I'm being real with you, other than the fact that they changed up Desperado, add a couple things, take a couple things away. That song, Desperado, you put that on Faces, easily fitting.
Yo, yeah.
That's like, it's one of like Mac Miller's harder songs. Like, you're talking just going in and rapping, and it's like, technically the intro is the first time we hear Mac, and that shit goes hard, dude. That shit goes fucking hard. Desperado, because I always loved it. Like when we re-listen to it, but like now, like you can really like, especially the more we do this, like the Relistenables, like the more and more I really dissect music, like beats, everything, like just the way they're saying things, their flow, the way they like, I don't know how to, their cadence, everything. It's like I break it down way easier. I'm hearing it way clearer. So I don't know, Desperado, man, it's up there. That's a like when we're talking just him going in rapping, not necessarily just talking about his songs, because he does a lot of slower music, like slower songs that I love to death that are my favorite. But when we're talking Mac Miller, just bars, Desperado's up there. And then followed by Loud, which is kind of, because this is the cool thing about Macadelic. It's literally Mac, it's probably Mac's most, I don't want to say this in the wrong way, because we see him transition so much into this music. We watch him grow. But he's 20 years old while he's doing this. And it's like, it's the first time that we actually see him go, like we were kind of talking about, go from backpack rap to starting to become an actual rapper, artist, respected in the game. And I think like you can hear it in Desperado, and then you go straight into Loud, which is an amazing song, but Loud's still kind of like that party song, that like banger on the radio and shit. So like he kind of like fights between a couple of them, and like he has like a couple on here that I would say are a little more like party wise, but it's his growth is ridiculous as well at the same time.
He's still like, it's almost like he can't get out of because you can hear him reference it sometimes, not just in this mixtape, but in other mixtapes where like he can't get over that constant need to like want to make like bangers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, he like really likes to make songs too, not just like full on rap. Going on ciphers, bars for bar, like.
Well, yeah, I think he needed, because he kind of says it too as well, because his team, the whole Mac Miller family and the team and everything, like DJ Clockwork and all those guys, they just dropped like literally a week or two ago, and it was official 10-year date. Yeah, in March, which was a couple weeks ago. I think they released that little like clip on YouTube. I think I sent it to you. I think you watched it as well. It's like a little 4 minute clip of him like getting ready for a tour and everything. And I think that's exactly what you said. I think that's what happened. Where he put so much effort into Blue Slide Park, and he thought he made like some bangers. Like Miss Call's phenomenal song. Like, there's some good songs in there, but it's not what we were expecting for a brand new album. And I think he needed.
Doesn't he say?
I'm about to go platinum on Miss Call. Yeah.
Y'all can lick balls.
Yeah, y'all can lick balls. Yeah, but I think he needed that flop. Technically, like I think a lot of diehard Mac fans are calling that a flop, but for critics, it was a flop, and I think he needed that because I think it was like, all right, I put all this effort into making something good. Fuck that. I'm just going into what I like now, and I think that's exactly what we end up hearing from there on out. And he turns around and drops this within 7 months since Blue Slide Park dropped, so it's just fucking impressive. His work ethic at the time, like to see it now, like even though he was partying and like going through drugs and a bunch of depression, everything that he was going through that he spits in this song or in his music, that like his lean addiction was crazy. Like he still had a work ethic that was second to none. Like seriously, it was, and you hear it, and it's no shock that he became, so popular and so famous. So, before we get into our awards and shit, I'm trying to think. All right, so if we had to put this up with like kids, best day ever, Blue Slide Park, and this right now, and then I guess we can go. Technically, you and I and Cody did watching movies, but it's not technically out there. Right. But for his, we'll go all the way to Faces from like 2009, I think was his best day ever. Or kids, I can't remember. What's like your favorite out of all these? Like, I guess up till Faces. So like, I guess you could put watching movies in there, but maybe save it. So like from Macadelic to like his first couple of mixtapes, which ones are your favorite?
Oh boy, dude.
Because like for me, if I'm being real with you, I think Kids is definitely one of the greatest mixtapes ever, and I honestly love it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what artist it is. I know like the older we're gonna get, the less and less that it's gonna like kind of relate to us, but it always takes me back to like me being a kid. Yeah. Because that's my first intro to him was Kids and Best Day Ever and shit. So, and then Blue Slide Park was up there as well, but like Macadelic, when this first came out in 2012, this was my favorite project.
Oh yeah,
but definitely. Then re-listening to it now, it's probably not in your top 5 projects of Mac Miller. Maybe fifth, but like because I mean you got Good Morning, Divine Feminine, Watching Movies, Faces, fucking Swimming, Circles. You got it all. Like
it's tough because for me, like, I love all the different things that Mac's done and stuff like that, but like. So a lot of his earlier stuff, it's when you go back and listen to it, it's dated. It's
100%.
It's just you go back and you listen to it and you're like, okay, this is not. It's not like his newer stuff where like Swimming and Circles, like those are even. Yeah, I know they just came out more recently, but they're the way they were made in the songwriting and the beats and all that stuff, they're more timeless. So we're like 30 years from whenever that dropped, you can go back and listen to that. It'll be like listening to another classical rap song that like either Jay-Z made or
Tupac, baby. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. 100%. Also, I felt like this one. Because, I mean, his mixtapes were always super long, but Blue Slide Park was super short.
Yeah.
And then this one, I mean, this one's over an hour. And, like, this thing, it's definitely a long one. I would definitely say it's probably... Yeah. I wish I'd have looked. I wish it was... I think it is his longest project to this day, because Watching Movies is long, too.
Yeah.
So, but
this one seems like it takes a minute to get through.
All right, so the only other thing I wanted to bring up, too, before we get into our awards... So the original skits and everything, I'll go through like what like is missing and everything, but like the original skits and stuff from movies and everything, I feel like, because I was after we break down so much, like because we did Faces and we did this, I feel like if he would have mixed Macadelic and Faces with like his like intros and outros from movies, I feel like he should have did that with Watching Movies. He doesn't do that with Watching Movies. Like we don't really have the like the movie clips and shit like. Faces is heavily with movies, like intros, outros. Like the whole point of watching movies was this. Like I know that's where he was getting his idea from, and I just thought it was kind of funny because like you got what is it the thoughts of a spotless mind or something. What's the oh man, I'm blank on it. Let me look into it. It's the one with Jim Carrey movie. Anyway.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, it's something like that. Anything. Anyway, but like I feel like that could have been a part of like because like I said with the whole "Love Me as I've Loved You," I thought that could have been maybe like with the Divine Feminine. There's a couple of things on here where his intros, outros could have been on watching movies. Faces as well probably could have been watching movies. Like I like some of his ideas. They all you can see where they're coming from, like through his projects. Basically, what I'm getting at, and then like I think too the other thing I really like watching like like looking all this up and doing all my research on this. It's his it's all the like motivation and like things that he got from the Beatles because he was on a huge Beatles kick at this time. Because I mean, I think we hear "Love in the Sky" or "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." Yeah. I think he samples that his first 3 songs with "Desperado," "Loud," and "Thought from the Balcony." They all have like sample from there, and I thought that was really cool. He said to the kids, "I'm the Beatles" or something like, "I'm the Beatles to these young kids." Like that's sometimes I just want to feel like a needle to. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of samples on this album that were really cool, and like even that was probably my favorite part from the original. Like because I think the original Desperado at the end has that really really cool the electric guitar basically from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and they took that out and then they put like their own little like electric guitar in the beginning of it, which I thought sounded dope still. It was still amazing, but like and then they took out Willy Wonka's outro when they were doing the one boat ride because he was like going real crazy.
Gosh, yeah,
dude, it was nuts. Like
dude, that's why, dude. I was listening to the Spotify, version of this, and like I honestly hadn't listened to the original one in a long time. So when I listened to this new one, I'm like listening through it, and I'm like, dude, I feel like this is missing things, and that's one that. You just totally reminded me about that. Totally
keep on going. Yeah. Yeah, he goes nuts.
And it's like,
yeah, that's the beat from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Yeah. That's fucking one of my favorite parts ever. And then like some of the other outros that he had were like the Requiem from a Dream, the one movie where he's like, "I'm somebody now, Harry." Like that whole part, like he's like, "I've never been so like a liar. I've never been so free" or something. And then goes into like he's like, "I've never been happier than where I am now" and shit, which was just a phenomenal. Like, I just like how he just comes up with these things. And then, because that was the only other thing I brought up too, or that I was looking up. Like, until I think like the first 10 songs were like kind of switched up. And then it was like it finally got into its own like beats and everything. So, like, they didn't change anything other than like, I think Clarity. At the end of Clarity had like a 2012, or the 2012 version had a John F. Kennedy outro, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I think in America 2012 that they had a quote by John Lennon at the end where it was like, I think people are just mad at kids or whatever because their parents wouldn't let them be wouldn't let them be young and stuff, like the whole thing. I thought that was really cool. And then oh yeah, the only other thing I wanted to bring up as well, because this one's funny as hell. So from the end of Fight the Feeling, when we're in 2012, we're still living with our parents. Like, let's be real, I'm living with my mom still, and I used to do this. You remember, like, I used to have that computer where like we'd have the speakers hooked up to, and we'd be jamming all the time. Yeah, dude. At the end of Fight the Feeling, when the girl just goes, "I just want you to fuck me," and he goes, "Fuck me," and then she starts moaning and shit, and it leads into Lucky Ass Bitch. Yeah, I've never felt so embarrassed to this day. I'm fucking 28 years old. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. Every single time that comes on, oh dude, I'm sitting there like, oh, people think I'm watching a porn or something, like, because then she starts moaning really heavily, and then goes into Lucky Ass Bitch, where it kind of leads perfect into his first verse. He goes, fuck me, like that whole thing. So I just think that's That part to me makes me laugh all the fucking time because to this day, Radio Raheem, this shit makes me laugh. Like,
Dude.
because I'll never forget the first time that came out when I was listening to it in 2012.
Dude, it startled me. I remember the first time I heard that song. Whoa, what's going on here?
Am I somehow on a porn?
Yeah,
Did I not close out my porn somehow?
Shit.
Like, what the hell?
It scared the piss out of me.
Yeah, that shit's hilarious. But
I was young and a virgin at that time, so I didn't know what the hell.
Same, but I was always watching porn. So what's good? But all right, so anything else that you want to get into before we get into our awards and shit? Because we'll probably break down a little bit more when we go into the awards. I'll do charts real quick actually, because it's really easy. It's real small, like where get placed and everything.
Oh, okay.
Because in 2012, for Complex magazine and all that, Complex their own chart, this was the 50th best album of 2012, and it was a mixtape. It was number 50 out of 200, I think, or 100. So I think that was pretty impressive.
Good job, man.
For Billboard, the Billboard Top 200, it was number 61 for. Because these are all billboards here, because they do the top 200. They do a best independent artist album. It was number 10, and I actually looked. Do you know what the number one independent album was that year in 2012? It's a band, and when I tell you this, you're gonna be like, "Holy shit!" I definitely would know that, but you kind of probably forgot.
The Black Keys?
No, Mumford and Sons.
Whoa.
Babel. It's a Mumford and Sons concert, eh? And then for rap and R&B, for Billboard, out of 200, it was number 30. So I think that's pretty impressive for a fucking mixtape. And then, sadly, when his death, September 7th of 2018, the next day, this came all the way back up to 106 on Billboard's top 200, which is sad, but it's pretty cool that 9 years later, or 6 years later, it comes back out in freaking charts. And then the only song that was a single on this album or mixtape was Loud, and it's the only song that does anything at all, like track wise or anything, or certification wise, and it's Loud certified gold at 500,000 units sold, and it was the number 71 song in Canada, and then it was number 53 on Billboard's Hot 100, and then it made it to Billboard used to have this thing called Heat Seekers, where they'd look up the best singles and shit at the time from not the the most famous people or whatever, and it was number 1 on there, so I thought that was pretty cool. But out of all these songs, only one song was certified anything, and it was Loud. And I'm not mad at Loud like that. We talked about it before. We're gonna get into it as well because we're gonna break down more of this, but. And I guess too, is there any songs that we're not going to talk about, even with nitpicks and shit? I don't think I'm gonna bring up "Fuck 'Em All," which was then I thought that was pretty cool. I actually really liked that song. I thought it was a really cool outro. Kind of gives you that whole let you know Max growing. You know what I'm saying? I think it continues that whole narrative, and I think it's perfect to lead him into watching movies. What else? Sunlight was pretty good. Iman Omari, I'll shout him out because I don't think he's going to win anything for me, but he's actually on 2 songs here. He's on Fight the Feeling and on Sunlight. I thought that was really cool. Real good vocals that he added. Like we said, 1 through 8 is amazing. That was one of those ones that really rubbed off on me. And I don't know, because it might come up. So,
oh shit.
I'm trying to think if anything else is going to come up. I guess Love Me As I Loved You. It's a little 1 minute. It's just just that little intro. I'll bring it up because it's a French girl talking. And Mac Miller wrote every single part of that, just so you know. I thought that was the coolest part. And I couldn't find anything on the French girl. I was looking it up. I was trying to see who it is, and I just couldn't find it. But it says technically in translation, says vibrate, a string, an inspiration, an eyelash, and then clearly it's in French, so it's not this clear, but hair, antenna, vibration, sound, life, and then she goes, "Are you there? Are you there? Where are you?" And then a breath, a beating vein, a thrill, pulpit of chicken, the lips that weave, tremble briefly, startle because of emotion, and then she goes, "Can you see me?" And we can actually hear what she says there. A blinking, a deep look, "Can you feel me?" And then a lively emotion, an impossible love, an essential sensation, unelectable, Unbreakable, and then she goes, "Do you love me?" And then men come from Mars, women come from Venus, which that's where I was thinking like this could be divine feminine, essentialist, and then of course she says, "Let me in," and then female and male nature, difference in essence, and then clearly she goes into "Love me as I loved you," and then she says it in French, and then it goes, "Are you ready?" And then I don't know, I never. It's all over the place, but I think it's really cool to show
Oh yeah, no,
his
it's,
emotion
it's
and like
more
what.
like art. It's more artistic.
That's what I. That's why I really want to kind of talk about it because it's not going to win anything, but it's like slowly leaking in to how artistic Mac really is.
Yeah,
Like really is. Like because I think that's the only thing.
the concept of it was really cool.
Fuck it. Let's get into our awards now because this will be my first part. Let's just. This is the Relistable Awards. We'll get this one out of the way because we're already kind of on it. The Jackson 4 Award, which is our nitpicks. We'll get that out of the way because it's the hardest one.
Yeah,
because I don't.
Not for this one.
Well, no, I give you that, but I'm saying it's the hardest one in most of the time on average because we don't like breaking down and being mean to these mixtapes. And originally, when I wrote this, it was that one song in the album you had to do without because clearly Michael Jackson, the greatest of all time. If you take Michael Jackson away from the Jackson 5, the Jackson 4 weren't going to do shit. But you take the Jackson 4 away, and Michael Jackson still goes on to be the greatest performer of all time. So if this album is Michael Jackson, what can you take away? And I thought the "Love Me As I Loved You" part, other than the French girl kind of being in and out of the entire thing, I thought it was honestly a little too deep for this mixtape, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I like that angle.
Like, I really think it's like, that's why I said it almost fits Divine Feminine more. It almost fits Swimming more. It almost fits Circle more. You know what I'm saying? Like, the type of flow that he has where he's so deep and he's so, like, intricate and he's such an artist and not just a musician. He's an artist, like, in every single route. So I thought that was one of my nitpicks where I was like, dude, honestly, I think he should have saved that. But you do hear the French girl all over the place, so it does fit. And she does come in with Through and Out. But the only ones I could come up with, I don't know if you agree with me here, because Cameron doesn't really even, like, he does have a verse, but it's not the greatest. And I do like Mac Miller's, like part on it, but, like, it's one of the only ones that kind of doesn't fit the love, drugs, bitches, like, that type thing. Like, it like, lean and shit. It's just him being super ignorant with his money and him being a boss. Yeah. And I think it's kind of cool, because I guess that's kind of what partying and shit does. But it's, like, one of the only ones that, to me, kind of doesn't fit. And then, even though I really like the song Sunlight, it's kind of one of those ones that's always forgotten for me. Like, when I re-listened, I was like, holy shit, Sunlight's on this? I completely fucking forgot. So, even though I just shouted out Iman Omari, it's like, maybe those are the only couple songs that I really didn't fuck with. So, and I guess if I had to be honest, if this was 2012, the whole, I want you to fuck me, that whole part we just talked about, maybe we can do without, because that shit was going to get me in trouble as a kid, because my mom probably thought I was watching porn.
Also, sometimes when you're listening to music, for me at least, like, just hearing certain sounds or watching certain things can make me uncomfortable in a weird way.
I still am. Like, you'll never see me click faster to change a song as soon as that comes up.
Because it's just like, I'm not in the mood to be hearing that. You know what I mean? Like, this is, especially if there are people around it.
Not to be funny, I just thought of who the hell that lady is. This girl will never watch us, so I'm happy I can say this on here with just you and I in this room. It's the girl. It's the old mom from the gym that moans every time she lifts. That's who that is.
Geez.
Just kidding. But in the gym setting, I guess it's a little different when you're a hot mom that's 50 years old. What's up, girl?
That lady gets after it.
But, like, seriously, when I listen to that every single time, doesn't matter how old I am, I'll be 50 years old and listening to Macadelic, and I'll be like, oh, my mom's gonna kill me. Like, it's just, it's honestly engraved to me. So, what? Those are my nitpicks. What would you? I know you said you were ready, so I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, ignorant. I just
we match there.
That song. I'm sorry, Mac. I love you, buddy, but that song annoys the piss out of me for some reason.
Rant. Oh my bad, I'm just killing shit.
It's very
killing shit. Oh, a girl, a bitch, a bitch.
It's almost like a very young Mac, and he brought back an old Mac like type of energy, if you will. And I was just like,
let's be real. This man was fucked up and vibing when he made that song. Let's just get in there and just make a vibe.
Yeah, right. It was. I don't know, but it's. Yeah, that's the only one, honestly. It's the only one I would...
Well, let's look at it real quick. Not to cut you off, so be ready, because I'll let you keep going on your nitpicks, but, like, let's be real here. If you look at where that places in this track listing, he's got The Morning After, 1 through 8, and then Ignorant. But then The Question and Angels, When She Shuts Her Eyes, and then Sunlight Clarity come on. That's literally like 6 songs that are just super like slower and more like emotional for Mac. And then you got literally right in the middle of that, let's just shit in Ignorant. I wonder if that was like what he was thinking, like, oh, maybe it's a little too slow in the middle there, which I love. It's my favorite part. Those are some of my favorite songs on this mixtape.
But it's such a different, I don't know, it's like a road bump.
Yeah, like literally every single part of this mixtape is literally talking about sex, drugs, money, all these things, or not even money, but like lean. It's just his addictions, what he's fighting through, like how he looks at the world and stuff, and then you got Ignorant comes in. So yeah, I agree. I think it's that one that just doesn't fit at all. So, and honestly, not to be mean either, Cameron, for being such a like respected rapper out there in the game, like your favorite rapper respects Cameron for sure. He's been around the game forever. I thought he shit the bed. I didn't think he did good at all. I thought Mac's part's good. I mean, I just rapped it clearly. But Cameron, what are you doing on that song, bud? I'm not. Nobody gets a free pass here. If you fuck it up, you fuck it up. So, any more nitpick?
No, actually, that was my only one.
Okay, so I'm happy we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll let you pick the next one. Clearly, save the most re-listenable and probably the Andre 3K award, just so we can kind of break it down a little bit better. But so you can pick any of them because there's the J-Lo, Jamal Crawford, Dr. Dre, LeBron James MVP, Scottie Pippen, Jamie Foxx award. Which one are you thinking?
Let's do the J-Lo awards.
Sorry, so the song that ages best.
Yes.
Like no matter what, like we said, 18-year-old J-Lo.
Right.
Well, we'll go.
This one's kind of tough on this.
J-Lo's sexy, but 50-year-old J-Lo now, maybe even sexier somehow. So let me hear what
3 times.
If you want me to go first, but I'll let you go first if you want. You're the one that picked it, but
no,
I just know you got to sit there and kind of. So I had a couple written down
because I like to feed off of.
I had a couple written down that maybe could win this for sure, and I thought Desperado was on there. Thought From a Balcony. I mean, there's a bunch that I really love, but like maybe even like Loud's on there if you want, and then maybe Angels as well. But for me, if I had to be real with myself, and this is truly, again, all these awards are just our opinion. So I honestly went with Desperado just because I loved it when he was out, like when it first, because it's the first time, like it's the first song you really hear from him on this mixtape. But I swear, re-listening, it ages better because it doesn't necessarily, it's not backpack rap Mac, you know what I'm saying, that we were talking about. Like Loud, like we're gonna get into it. It's gonna win a couple of awards for me, but it's maybe my one takeaway from that song is it's more of like his like banger type music where it's not one that you're always gonna re-listen to and really fuck with because Mac gets so personal and so deep on his music that I thought Desperado was phenomenal because, I mean, to be honest, I thought the entire thing was phenomenal because it's literally, it's just a phenomenal song in my opinion because it's literally talking, it's like it's opening him up about the stresses he has in life, him getting introed into drugs, and it's like it's a whole new Mac. It really is a whole new Mac, and he lays it all out in the first song. So
it's when he's entering the gateway.
He literally broke through the gateway,
and he's not, and he hasn't either felt the consequence. Right now, he's just experiencing the highs of it all, not the lows yet. So
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
All right, so then that's your pick.
Mine would be "Fight the Feeling" for best age, just because like knowing who Kendrick is. I mean, I know it's a Mac Miller song, but just like knowing who Kendrick is now, and you like listen back to his verse, and it's like, dude, this is way better than I thought it was. Like, just the way he breaks down his verse, and it's just
100%.
It's freaking sweet, dude. It's awesome.
All right, let's get into this conversation real quick then, because we still got a couple years until we can re-listen to the Divine Feminine because it's still kind of newer. Right. I like these re-listenables to be older, at least like 8 years probably, and maybe max 6 years. But you know what I'm saying. I like kind of giving them some time to like really age, and then we can go back and re-listen to them. Is this the best Mac Miller Kendrick song? Because it's only this and God is Fair, Sex, or God is Sex.
I like,
fair,
I like Sexy Nasty. But I
Kendrick doesn't go. Kendrick doesn't get a chance to really go. He just plays the hook.
Yeah, but this song is just, dude,
it's one of my favorite songs. All right, so another thing about this song I really want to shout out. There's a really, really cool video. It's a fan-made music video.
Really?
Dude, it's like a stick figure running through, he just starts on a run. It's a stick figure. It literally starts from like him getting drawn and everything, and then he's just running. But he's going through all the emotions and everything in life. Like it starts raining, it starts thundering, it starts snowing on him. Like he gets real like tired at one moment. He's bent over. It's a lot of shit that I just love, and this is actually that song that I was texting you. It was like the nostalgia of these, like, cause dude, I was listening to this on the way to the gym the one morning, Thursday morning when it was shitty out. I wasn't working concrete, and this song was like, dude, I felt like I was in 2012 again, driving around for the first time in my little like Linda the Intrigue, the little piece of shit that I had, $500 car. Shouts out to it, and it's just, which is crazy too, because this whole song is like Mac's nostalgia of him growing up and everything, and like always thinking of him being a kid. And like him reminiscing on like how he felt and everything as a kid, so like you can hear that, and it's just, you can't like, and it's so true as well. You can't fight the feeling in a lot of things, like, and no matter what it is in life, if drugs, women, like your mind, whatever, literally whatever. And I think that's what hits home really, really well. And yeah, Kendrick comes on there, does Kendrick things. Like clearly, we all know Kendrick is like the hard rapper, but this is who Kendrick was at the time. Kendrick was like a emotional guy who was rapping slow, like almost speaking more. And this is my favorite Mac as well, is the slow speaking Mac. So I love that call out of you. You got anything else to say on that song? Because that's a phenomenal song. It's one of my favorite songs. It was, and it probably would have won for me if I didn't listen to it so fucking much. I listen to it all the fucking time. So let's get this one out of the way. This one's a little like tougher for this mixtape because it is 17 songs. So I'd really like to hear what you got to say. But shouts out to the man, the sixth man of the year, the all-time sixth man of the year, Jamal Crawford. So basically, the way I came up with it, and he just retired, so shouts out to Jamal. But this is this one I'm paying homage to him because I love. But this one I always kind of describe it on shorter albums. I guess technically it'd be like the fourth song, like fourth man of the year. It's like, cause like if it's a 10-song album, you have your top three. But with a 17-track album, you got your top five. You got your starting five. You know, you got your LeBron in there. You got Kobe. You got Jordan. You got Shaq. You got whoever, you know what I'm saying? Whoever you want. But, like, who's Jamal Crawford coming off the bench for you? Who's the first song coming off the bench that, okay, Kobe's in foul trouble, or Michael Jordan's in foul trouble, but Kobe's coming off the bench and giving you 25 points in 10 minutes real quick. Like, this is the way I describe it. Like, what's your heat check song, basically? They're like, yeah, it's not in the top five, but, like, this is my personal, like, first one coming off the bench if I got to sub out.
Here it is. It's going to be Loud because Loud is not actually in my top five.
Okay. I'm actually intrigued with this because it technically would probably be a lot of people's top fives, but I want to hear this.
Exactly.
This is why we do this.
Loud, for me, it's that, okay, and this is because we're on Relistenables, this is because I re-listened to it, and this I'm not thinking about back when I was in 2002.
Yeah, huge.
So, for me, it's like Loud at one point was a starter. Was like,
it was MVP on the team.
He was head honcho for a while.
I love this.
He was fucking head honcho. He's walking around shooting threes.
Averaging 30 points a game.
He triple doubles like it ain't nothing. And then he gets a little old, right? Has a few injuries. Tears up the knee a little bit.
Starts getting a little quieter.
Gets a little shaky.
Loud turns quiet.
It's a little shaky. However, he does come back. He heals up, like, what was that? Sean Livingston, he breaks his leg, comes back, he plays for the Warriors, right? But, so Loud for me is that player that was, like, real sweet at one point, got hurt, comes back, and is, like, super sweet as a sixth man. So, like,
I love this.
That's Loud for me.
I love that. That's a huge pick.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good one. So
bumped up a little bit.
Loud's, like we said, Loud's one of the only songs that actually tracks on here. So I really love how you kind of put your own little spin on it. Because again, this is all opinionated, so I love that shit. For me, I had two down, and it's between Morning After and Clarity for me because they're a lot deeper of a storytelling song. You're not necessarily going to be in your top five. They're not like we're talking about. It's not going to average the 25 points a game. But to like a diehard Mac fan, that one's gonna really, it's gonna come in and give you 15 points in 5 minutes real quick, and it's like, holy shit, that's a jump we needed, bro. So like, I think
throw that on at the party, you're gonna get some people going.
So this is tough. So originally, when this first came out in 2012, The Morning After is one of the first ones that stuck out to me because I loved it. Like, The Morning After, my tongue hurt, eat your pussy just to show you how my tongue worked. Like, that whole thing, I love that whole part because I thought it was about a woman at first. But then you realize it's about drugs, and same with Clarity. So I'm going to have to go Morning After because Clarity might be in the top 5 for me. I love Clarity. It's one of my favorite songs. But The Morning After, to me, was just phenomenal because it's so deep. It's such a Mac Miller song. Like, let's be real. It's such a Mac Miller song where he's expressing his struggles that he's going through with the drugs and like how much he's like in love with them, but they don't love him back necessarily. But he's willing to do anything for him, even though it like hurts him. And it's how well he does in making it actually sound like a woman, but it's really just about his drugs. And so we don't necessarily know what drug it is. People think it's cocaine. People think it's lean. People think it's LSD. So, because he doesn't actually open up on what drug it is, but you kind of have your speculations out there. So I think that's why. I think it's just every time I listen to that song, it's a storytelling song for me. It's like Colors and Shapes, like he does on there. Like it's such a deep song. I really love it. So that was my pick. Even though it's a little slower, it might not come off and give the craziest vibes, but it's gonna hold the team together. I think it's like a Channing Frye for the Cavs in 2016.
Nice. Comes out
like hey, we're the morale. I'm just here for the. I know I'm old. I know we've already done the damn thing.
I'm here in the first.
But if I hit 2 or 3 threes in the game, oh, we're going nuts because I'm the grandfather in the team. Like I'm just here for locker room morale. So that was my pick. All right, so I'll let you pick after that. We got the J-Lo out the way, and we got Jamal Crawford out the way. So, and we got Jackson 4 out the way. I forgot about that. So, like, Dr. Dre Best Beat, LBJ MVP Award. We can go with the Best Feature, Scottie Pippen, Jamie Foxx, whatever.
Let's go with the Let's go with the Jamie Foxx Award.
I love it. You want to describe it a little bit?
No, you're better at that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, all right. So this one for me, it originally started off as the most versatile song, but then I've really thought about it, and it's literally like, no matter what mood you're in, what song is going to get the Jamie Foxx work? Because like we always talk about, Jamie Foxx started off as a comedian, went into acting, turns into a singer. He's literally on First Take, always battling with Stephen A, holding his own.
What's good,
like
Steven?
He's on everything. Literally, he can jump on literally anything. He's the most versatile guy out there. Like we talked about originally, Will Smith could be up there, but Will Smith doesn't put himself out as much as Jamie Foxx does anymore. Even though I guess keep your wife's name out your fucking mouth. But but no, seriously, like. So what song, no matter what mood you're in, it's the most versatile song. Like you can be kind of sad, you can be happy, you can be any mood. You know what I'm saying? A little mad, like anything you want to do.
A little angry.
A little on edge. Like what song? Because I had a couple written down, but I'm really excited to hear what you got
All
to say.
right. Sorry. Mine's gonna be Aliens Fighting the Robots.
That's a good one.
I don't know. I just really like the vibe of it. It's different. And to me, like I can hear it anytime, and I'm just like, I don't skip it. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter what the mood is, I like that song, and to me, it gives me the WBB. Why do I keep tripping up on his name? Jamie Foxx award.
Gives you vibes to him. Yeah, and it's like we said, Sir Michael Rocks is in it. Shouts out to him because he was on Faces as well. So, I really love that pick. I'm not gonna lie to you because it's one of those. It is one of those songs that, in my mind, it's like backpack rap still. It's backpack Mac. Like it's him kind of just like having fun on a song. And like if this was on Kids or Best Day Ever, I'm not shocked. You know what I'm saying? That kind of flow. So I really like that pick. I really actually like that a lot.
I don't really have too big of a reasoning other than
it'll get you hyped up. I think no matter what mood you're in, you can jam to it.
Yeah, I just jam to it. It's like, I guess it's the most versatile song on this.
And the part that I love so much about it is that I actually had that down as one of the choices because I had that, Vitamins, and Lucky Ass Bitch, and I think I'm gonna go with Lucky Ass Bitch, to be honest with you, because I think every time I listen to it, Juicy J does a good job of like getting you hyped up. Mac Miller goes pretty hard on the damn song. I don't know. It's funny too to me. It's a lot more funny.
I was
like,
just about to say I might. Now I'm really like thinking about it. Like the way you were just explaining it, it's like to me like Lucky Ass Bitch is like. It would be because it's funny. It's got funny. It's got funny in it. It's got some serious in it. It's got just Juicy A being gangster. Like it's got so many different elements in it. And the beat's sweet.
It's literally just him as well, just like kind of talking about his exhilarating lifestyle between sex, drugs, everything that he's doing. Like he's always partying. This was like kind of that thing where he's just like. And it's positive, Mac. I think, like, even though he is talking about drugs and shit, like, it is him on, like, a high of a drug. Right. Like, he's feeling good. You can tell him while he's recording this, he's loose, Mac. He's just having fun with it. So that was the only reason I went with it. Was just because it's like, no matter what mood I'm in, if Lucky Ass Bitch comes on, my mood changes. It's like, okay, we're feeling it. I feel like I'm in the studio every time he raps that. So, and it's the nostalgia part as well. I remember always laughing my ass off to that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like it was
when
just
it first came out, I was like, "Really? That's the hook?"
Because it's Mac. Weird. It's Mac having fun on this mixtape. That's what I love so much. It's him just enjoying what he's doing, and you can really hear it. So like, I always respect that. So great Jamie Foxx picks. Like I said, Vitamins probably could even got picked too. Let's get this one out of the way. This one was the hardest one for me, and I'm still gonna have trouble because I'll probably change up my mind at this one. But we'll go with the Dr. Dre Award for the best instrumental, best beat. And hard. The reason this one was so hard is because I found recently doing all this, I found a new way to do it for me. Like when it comes to like all the Late Registration by Kanye, the Black Album by Jay-Z, like all these ones that we've been doing. It's been a lot easier because all those, like even like Get Rich Die Trying, Good Kid, Mad City, these type albums that we do. Even Faces, they have like a whole YouTube. Somebody on YouTube like would take it and have an instrumental version of the album. So I would just clean off the lyrics, and they wouldn't even listen to lyrics at all, and just listen to the beat. And like even with J. Cole, that's the one I first did with 2014 Forest Hills Drive, because these artists are so good at making a beat sound deeper than it is, but it's all looped, and it's like you're shocked sometimes. Like holy fuck! Like I went back and listened to that, and it's like it's actually not that good of a beat. It's just the artist is so good at rapping and presenting a song, and its flow and its cadence and shit changes up so much that you think the beat's more intriguing than it is. So with me, some of the choices for me were Desperado, Loud, Ignorant, and America. And so it's almost not fair. So this is why I don't want to pick Loud or Desperado, because they're so heavily sampled by Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, and you can hear it so clearly that I kind of would rather just give it to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, you know what I'm saying, by the Beatles. So as much as we shit on the song, I went with Ignorant because I thought it is a great beat. Like I really do love the beat. I feel like if Mac would have had a chance to change that song and come at it with a different route, like a different route and a different whatever, I think he would have killed it, because that beat is fucking flame. It really is. Like
I'll have to give you that.
And America also is a really hard beat as well. But like I said, the only reason I didn't do Desperado or Loud is because they were so heavily sampled. And honestly, Desperado's remastered beat with the electric guitar in the beginning, flame. Like I wanted to kind of give it to it, but I wanted to kind of stay 2012 version. But, right. So. I'm interested into what you're thinking.
For me, is 1 through 8 because just because of the way that they were able to, or he was able to like sample in someone like literally counting, and it just is perfectly in line with the beat, and it just goes into the song as well. It just shows how he's able to not only just make a really sweet beat, but he's able to incorporate his own voice into the beat as well, or not his voice, but a voice in general, like into the beat as well, like, and it just float. I don't know. I think it's super artsy how he did that beat. It was cool.
All right, let me hear you on this route, because this was another one of my takes I wanted to bring up, and you this is how it works out so well. Some of the times I forget the take that I wanted to bring up, like because when we're doing this, we get lost in the sauce. and then you'll bring something up or I'll bring something up, and it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna bring up. So not necessarily saying it's number one song on what I'm about to say, but if you had to make like a 10-track like album or mixtape of Mac Miller's forgotten songs because of the times that it came out, is 1 through 8 one of the most forgotten Mac Miller songs?
Yeah,
it's the most slept on song. If that song's on Swimming, or and honestly, you put on Divine Feminine, anything, like it probably wouldn't fit Divine Feminine as much. But if you had a chance to put that song on Swimming or Circles, I feel like it fits so perfectly, and I think it's amazing. It's like kind of like we were talking about "Love Me as I Loved You," even though it's not a song. It's his creativity, and dude, I'm telling you right now, that song 1 through 8. To me, is on this mixtape especially, is the most slept on song because it's almost deeper than any other song, because it literally is about him wanting to change everything around him and like the careless and like destroyed version of the world. Because like we were talking about, like when you're doing a lot of drugs all the time, or even if you're not on drugs, honestly, sometimes like it's real easy to get caught up in how like fucked up the world is, and it's him expressing that. It's like he's fighting it within himself too, of like. He's asking, like, all the good choices that he makes, is it worth it? Are people going to remember? Or should he just keep doing bad things? Like, it's a crazy, like, fight within his own head. And that was one of my favorite things about him. Like, and it's also very open about how, like, it's like he's his own worst enemy. So, like, it's such a deep song. It's a Mac Miller, like, exclusive. And I feel like if that got released in, like, the unreleased, like, sound bites that DJ Clockwork did and everything over the last couple years, I think that's one of the number ones that are being played.
Oh, yeah.
But I think because of the time that it came out, and like us being young, still being 18-year-olds, and like most of his fans were us, you know what I'm saying? Like 18-year-old, maybe 20 max, and then down to like 16, probably 15. And that song wasn't the, Knock Knock, the Donald Trumps, the Senior Skip Day, the Loud, the Frick Park Market. It wasn't those feels. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Nike's on my feet, Man in the Hat, Get Me Sitting in the Back, that type shit. Like, it's such a phenomenal song. So I'm happy you brought that up, seriously, because and I do like I know what you're saying. It's a different. You're coming at it in a different way for a beat too. So I really like that. That's a good pick, dude. But yeah, I think that's, if I had to make a track list, 10 songs, it's most forgotten Mac Miller songs, like, or bangers. I think 1 through 8's maybe top of the list. Like, it's easily a top 4 to me, most forgotten song. So great pick, dude. So this one, I know you always come at it with different routes, and this is why I like doing this one with you. I thought, to me, this one was very easy. It was a very easy pick for me. But the LeBron James MVP award, which if I'm gonna break this down a little bit better, so like, no matter what team he's on, the Heat, even though you can make a fucking argument there, the first 2 years Dwayne Wade carried him through the Eastern Conference, and then you had Ray Allen hit his shot and everything, but still, without LeBron on the team, like, this mixtape isn't a re-listenable. You know what I'm saying? Like, without this certain song, it's not a re-listenable. So like, there was a time between like 2011 to all the way up to like 2018, 2019 that like LeBron probably should have won MVP. He went on to win some championships in those years. Always was in the finals. Like, LeBron was the best player in the world. So on this mixtape, not necessarily saying it's the best song on the mixtape in your opinion, but without this song, this mixtape's probably not as hot as it was. And I think it's real easy. I think it's the only single that was released from this mixtape, and I think it's Loud. I think it's easy, because I think, like, it's the way that, because it's always like the end of club for Get Rich or Die Trying. It's like the swimming pools, or probably swimming pools for Good Kid, Mad City. It's literally, we can go on for days. We can go on for days about these songs, like Rap Diablo for Faces. Like, there's certain songs on these albums that we do, like
the standout song,
like Gold Digger for Late Registration. Like 99 Problems, probably, or probably 99 Problems for the Black Album. Like, it's that one song on there that's it's probably a little too much commercial for you and I to like, like the hot fans, but like for the average person, like, it's got to be like that. It's gonna get the listen from everybody. So I went with Loud.
Yeah, for me, like, in all honesty, it probably should be Loud, but I gave Loud the 6-man award. Because
I understand. That's why I was excited
because of today's time. But I would say for me the MVP would be, it should have been I guess my MVP award should have been The Question. I feel like if they would have promoted that song more, or he would have like released that as a single, it would have actually probably did really well.
I 100% agree. I think it goes back to the point, though. I think the only reason it didn't get released as a single was, one, I think that was like his one feature on there he was super excited about. And I do think, too, I don't think, because Lil Wayne wasn't that hot at the time because people were kind of hating on him for his rock album, Rebirth and shit. Like, I think that's the only reason. Like, I think a lot of people are. But I could be wrong, too. I think it's kind of like the Rick Ross Insomniac version of, like, I think it's just his favorite feature that he finally got. Like, it's one of those ones that, like, no matter how good you think you are, even though Mac always raps about he's the best and he's superior than everybody.
I actually got it.
I think it's that one for him that he's like, it kind of humbles you and makes you realize who the fuck you really are. And you're like, holy shit, I'm actually here, dude. I got Lil Wayne on a fucking track and he went hard as fuck for me. So I think that might have been the only reason, but I agree with you. I like that.
So do you think, here's just an idea, do you think maybe he does that purposely with the songs where he gets like the actual big rappers on? Like he purposely doesn't try to promote those and or release them, like try to make them one of his top songs, because in the one song he does say, I did it all without a Jay feature, I did it all without a Drake feature.
Yeah,
so
did
like,
all without a Drake feature. Yeah, he does all three of them.
Oh yeah, so by him like saying that or whatever, is he just think like he doesn't, in his mind, like he doesn't want to ever think like, okay, because I promoted my song that was with Lil Wayne the most and it hit this top chart, like is that the only reason why people like me?
Yeah, mix between that and like honestly like maybe one of your favorite, like if I had to be honest with you, like it'd be like you like showing off these and everything. Like you probably have your own favorite of one of these, like because when you collect all these are your favorite things ever. Like you probably have a favorite out here that's not necessarily the most popular, but like it means the most to you. But you're gonna show us the one that's like, oh no, like this one, like that type shit. So I think to him, I think the songs mean the most to him having these features on there. So he's like hiding it more, and he's like, this means so much to me that like you have to really care about me to listen to this song. Like if you want, you're gonna have to fuck with me for me to show you this perfect thing that I made. So I think that's why. To me, that's not like because
sweet, yeah. Because the one that I would show people when they first come in here would be like a Grogu, because everybody's like, oh, he's so damn cute. But the fucking sweetest one I got up here is probably. Anyways.
No, I know what you're saying, but you know what I'm kind of getting to. Like, I don't think it's him being selfish in a way. I think it's more like honestly, like. I don't want just the average person listening to this album because I have Lil Wayne on it. Right. Or I got Rick Ross on it. Like, that's honestly, like, it's more, I want you to truly fuck with me. And if you do, then you're going to get blessed with this. It's that type shit. That's the way I kind of look at it. Like, it'd be like me if I ever made music and you got like an Eminem song or a J. Cole song or Cudi or something. Like, you know, people like come on or something. You got some like crazy somebody that you never would have expected.
Right.
Like, that's going to be near and dear to my heart. Like, it's going to be something that I'm going to be like, yo, I'm not showing this just anybody.
Also, as well, I was just thinking about this because I remember Max saying in an interview that he said it like in a joking manner, but he was talking about how like he takes the same marketing ideas from Drake, like releasing only like one song or whatever here and there. And long story short, when Drake came out with that one, I forget what album it was, but it had the Michael Jackson feature on it.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're saying.
But, like, it was not, like, he did not promote that. Like, you didn't get that until you listened to the album. And then you're like, holy, what
I think it was Scorpion. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
holy, what the fuck, dude? Is that Michael Jackson? You're like, what the hell? So that's what it was like when I listened to this. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Lil Wayne. Like, holy shit.
This is easily his first big feature.
Yeah.
Easily his first big feature.
Hell?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, it is. It's his first big feature ever on this.
So
like Cameron's a pretty big feature, but he pooped all over the place, not to be mean. And then Kendrick nowadays, 10 years later, Kendrick gets a huge feature, but it's not Kendrick that we know.
Pooped all over the place.
Yeah, he literally shit all over the song. So, which honestly, this might be a perfect transition, to be honest with you, to go into the Scottie Pippen Award.
Yeah.
All right, Scottie Pippen Award, best two-man of all time, next to Michael Jackson. Just kidding. Michael Jordan, I'm fried. But, like... So many Michaels: Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson.
Tyson.
Michael Tyson, you ain't lying. All right, so Michael Scott was good, But so your best feature from this mixtape. So you got Scottie Pippen basically your number 2. So Mac Miller's clearly Jordan. For me, so you got Weezy on there. You got Kendrick on there. Amon Omari's on there twice. I don't think he might deserve it. I don't think he's gonna win. I'm just kind of shouting him out for being on there twice. The only person that's on there twice. Sir Michael Rocks is on there. Joey Badass, Casey Veggies. Am I missing any more? I think I got them all. Oh, Juicy J. If you want to add that, even though.
God damn, that's a lucky ass bitch.
So if you had to pick your favorite feature off this, to me it's pretty clear between 2, and I'm not gonna fight you on any of them. I think it's between Kendrick and Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep. And I think. So if this isn't 2012, and this is brand new Kendrick, and he's up, like, he did such a good job that, like, because he's not, like we said, we keep saying he's not as well known at the time. Like, he might get it for just how impressive he really was, but now it's like, if we're looking back, I'm gonna give it to Weezy, just because, like I said in the whole beginning, is where I really hold Mac so accountable for Weezy coming back into rap. Like, I know he dropped the Carter 4 literally in 2011 while they recorded this song, but it was like, for me, it was the first time I listened to Lil Wayne again from him from like 3 years probably, because I was just really hating where Weezy was going with his rap. Like, he was on top of the world, and then he went to rock, and he was switching up his flow, which I know artists get a very, like, it's not fair. It's unfair for them to get that much hate for just, doing what they want to do in their own heart. But yeah, I'm going with Weezy on the question.
Mine would be Kendrick from Fight the Feeling, because I just thought he killed it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy we're on the same page. It's between the 2. You can't be mad.
And my biggest reason would be because if you listen to the question, like, Mac starts the song off and it has a theme to it. Like, it's got a serious theme to it. But then Weezy comes in, and even though his verse is sick as hell, it doesn't really have like a story or a plot. He's just rapping. You know what I mean? Like, he's just spitting bars. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not to me. It doesn't almost fit the song or the theme of the song. Whereas, like, Kendrick, like, definitely fed into the story of the song and the
I'll give you that
plot of the song.
So here's my favorite thing about the question. We'll go into that real quick because I don't know if it's going to come back up. So clearly, it's questioning who you are in life. It's literally both of them sitting there.
Right.
Like, that's why they're both like, because Weezy kind of goes with it, where he's like sitting in my Bentley thinking about these hoes. Like, all I do is kill them. Like Nicole. Like, he's talking about how, like, women have a big effect on him. Like, but is that truly who I am? Is it my rap? Is that truly I am? So, like, he kind of does, but I know what you're saying. It's not as much as Mac.
Like,
so,
it's not as clear.
No, I get.
Unless
no,
you're
me,
like really listening to the lyrics, like for Wayne, like he's not as clear. And he always likes to put those similes and everything in it, like and I'm sitting in my bed,
hell yeah,
thinking about these hoes. All I do is kill them, like Nicole. Like, that's a simile. So you hear a lot of similes in there, which breaks it up, and it almost like, I don't know, like it's almost like he's still just spitting bars. But yeah, he's totally, yes, you're right.
No, 100%. But like this, I think this is what my favorite part is about it though with Mac. It's like, because it's him. It's literally him, because he turned to drugs, and he's wondering like who the fuck he really is now, because he's losing himself in drugs. He's mental is going through it, and then like, I just love how too, and on his verse or whatever, he uses multiple like voices. Like, he changes his voice up like 4 times and then blends them all into one, and it sounds really fucking cool. Like, you would think, honestly, when I first heard it, I was like, this man using fucking whatever auto tune, like, to fuck his voice up or anything. And no, it's him showing what he's going through in his head, and I thought that was the coolest part. It's like one of the most slept on things of this whole mixtape. It's like probably his most intricate verse, what he does mastering with it.
Right.
And then, like, honestly too, I really love the question on the 2012 version, because this is where the outro is from the eternal sunshine of a spotless mind. That's it. But that's where Jim Carrey's at the end, like, I could die right here, Clem. And then talking about like how he's just happy. I've never felt like this before. All that, like, I thought it was really cool. But they take that out in the 2018 version. But I'm not mad at you at all, because Fight the Feeling is some shit. I love Fight the Feeling. So Yeah, I think both of those, Lil Wayne or Kendrick, gotta be, and they could probably get co-MVP for Scottie Pippen Award Best Feature. So, all right, for you, most re-listenable song right now off the top of your dome. Mixtape. You hear Macadelic. What's the most re-listenable song to you?
Ooh. I want to say Loud, but it also gets really annoying to me sometimes. The beat does. Not so much like the song itself, but just the high pitchedness of
Yeah, no, I got you.
Can get annoying sometimes. But I would say Loud or Lucky Ass Bitch.
Okay, I like that.
Most listenable, just because of at that time those were like the bangers of the song, and just for me, like if you want a taste of what Mac was like in 2012, you would listen to those two songs.
All right, so I'm gonna mine without a doubt, just because how much I love it. "Dodge from a Balcony." I think it's one of his best songs.
Great song.
But honorable mention that we have not talked about, which I'm kind of shocked, is "Angels" as she shuts her eyes or whatever. I think it's one of the most phenomenal songs in there.
It is.
Like he gets real deep on there. It's basically talking about him just having a really euphoric trip and just really like pretty much looking at drugs like an angel. Like, you're amazing. This is how good I feel. But it's a phenomenal song. I really like that one. We haven't even talked about it, which I'm kind of shocked about because that was such a big song when it came out for us. Like, I think for 2012 when Macadelic came out, it was one of those ones that stick out. All right, and then I'm gonna make one up on the fly because I've been bringing it up recently. So I didn't write it down, but I want to do it now. If we had a Back to the Future, if we had to do a Back to the Future award, which it would be somebody comes back from the future. He comes back in time, and it's 2012 or even now. We'll say it's now. It doesn't matter. They're just from the future, very far away. And he's like, "Hey, I got 5 minutes to listen to one song from Macadelic that's gonna sum it up perfectly." What song would that be?
Oh shit! Oh my goodness, that's tough.
Because I mean, for me, like if like just off the top of the dome piece, if I had to I think it's gonna be Desperado. Just because it really does, like, it's his stresses in life now that he's doing drugs and all these, like, now he's got fame. It's like it's uppier. It's like it's a little like it's a little more like upbeat track.
Desperado.
Yeah, but it's like it's a little more upbeat and everything. But at the same time, it's him talking about very serious matters. But he's rapping at the same time, so it's like it's got the deep meaning. It's got the flow. It's got the beat. But it's also, like I said, it's got the whole meaning of this entire mixtape. So. Or AK album, whatever you want to call it.
I'm going to follow suit with you and go Desperado as well.
Because that's been one of my favorite things re-listening, because I think I brought it up in the last 4 that we've done now, where it's like if somebody came back from the future, this would be the song that I would pick. Like, I remember I picked like January 28th for 2014 Forest Hills Drive, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe for Good Kid, Mad City. There's a ton that I could go off of, like Late Registration. I'm probably going with actually that's a tough one. There's a bunch on there, but probably anyway, there's a bunch on there. But yeah, so that was just kind of one that I'd like to, because I think it's tough.
Like
let's do it. Yeah,
I like that one. We should keep it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna stay in here for sure. So, do you have any all right, so this is one of my one takeaways from this mixtape. It's still at this time kind of like, I don't want to say cheesy at all, because I wouldn't say cheesy because he is very lyrical, but like it is kind of like more one-liner Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Like, so is there any that you would like to like talk about for the Andre 3K award? For like the best verse, best line? It's just because there's so many like funny one-liners, but at the same time, there are like, it's not, if the best way I can say it, it's not like the deepest of writing that he gets into, where it's like, holy shit, that's pretty fucking intricate. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a couple on Desperado that kind of make me laugh, where he opens up with, "I got a pocket full of posies, some devil with a pitchfork, keep talking like you know me," then goes on psychopathic yeah, all that shit. And then I think there was one more line that he had really fucking funny on there.
I'm a crazy motherfucker. Take my hand and ran away. I experiment with drugs, but I'll never fuck with you.
I think it was real funny when he goes, and I do a big you an iPod Nano, which is just like a one-liner.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It's HBO, bitch. You gotta pay for that. Your channel's free. It's just funny shit. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Like, the most abstract ways to tell people they're lame as fuck. It is so funny. That we were just talking about that at the park the other day. When he says stuff like that, in the most odd way to let you know that he's better than you.
Yeah, he's phenomenal at it.
It's so funny.
Like, I thought
your channel's free.
I thought it was really the one witty one that he actually really has. Like, hey yo, I'm about to start gambling with Ambien. I'm Dutch smoking. That's a strike, but fuck bowling. I could tear a pin of Maryland. I thought that shit was pretty fucking just fire. And then there's a couple on there, but black and gold. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any like that really like, because this was the toughest part about it. Like his faces, there's so many. There's so many that we were talking about. Like whole verses and shit. I did like Mac Miller's verse on Ignorant, even though I didn't like the song that much. It doesn't fit on there. I thought that was really good. Desperado, he goes hard. Loud's pretty fucking dope. Dodge from a Balcony, like the whole like, just the whole like thought process of what he's trying to get to is pretty dope. I like the flow of aliens fighting robots, but like that could have been another one that almost doesn't fit in there very well either.
Right.
Because it doesn't really have a meaning at all. It's just kind of fun rap.
Yeah.
And then Fight the Feeling, like I thought, like clearly Lil Wayne and Kendrick both have pretty good verses. The Morning After, like I said, it's The Morning After and Clarity. I will shout that out real quick, even though I kind of already did. Just his wordplay and the way that he makes it sound like a woman, but it's not, and it's all drugs. I thought that was very talented. So,
oh, excuse me.
No, you're good, dude. So, is there anything else that you want to bring up real quick? Because we just fucking went ham on Macadelic. I'm trying to think. I think maybe
Macadelic is definitely one of the classics, in my opinion, for Mac Miller fans. However, for me, it's still one of my favorites. Clearly enough, I've listened to it and whatnot, but it's definitely one of the more dated projects for me. When I listen to it, I don't really go back and re-listen to it a whole lot, just because I'd rather listen to his newer stuff. But it's got some freaking sweet songs on it that I always forget about because I always think about the popular songs, which would be like Loud and Lucky Ass Bitch and things of that nature. The ones
Vitamins.
Right, the ones that are very, like the very upbeat banger type songs on here that like kind of date it for me. And always, those ones unfortunately make me forget about the slower, more significant songs on here that I actually really do like. So I need to, instead of thinking about the album, maybe I need to just add all those slower songs into a playlist.
You know what I think?
Often, but
my perfect take, or like if I had to like make it like a perfect description of my own take is what I should say. Not the perfect take, but like my perfect description is my take on this mixtape. I will say that this was a better, I don't want to say this in a rude way. It's a better, like if you're listening to the entire album from start to finish, it's a better listen the younger you are. If that makes sense. Because the older you get and the more that we hear from Mac, he's so good at presenting an album and having meaning behind it. And yes, there is meaning to this album, but it's the classic drugs, women, and fucking cars and shit. Like it's
not a very mature.
It's not, but he's maturing. But it like at 2012 when you're in high school, this shit was flame. I love this shit. But then
because we didn't think the way we do now, but like, and it's because we are so close to age with Mac to where like the older he got, like we were growing with him. So like he would release music and it was like, oh, this fits perfectly with what I like to hear right now.
Facts.
Because we were so close to age with them. But like when this popped out, we were like, oh, this is so cool because he was thinking the same way we were for the most part. I'm not saying everybody, but like that's why we're like, oh, this is so cool. But then the older we got, we're like, oh, we totally would have made that same type of rap song back in 2012.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
which actually makes me think, because this is my last take as well, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. So, like, the songs that really stuck out to me in 2012 clearly were, like, Loud, Vitamins, Lucky Ass Bitch. Actually, I mean, clearly a couple more did, but, like, those three right there, like, are really top songs from this mixtape, but those ones I don't listen to that much anymore, because I'm kind of, like, we outgrew it, you know what I'm saying, in a way? Like, Loud, I really do like the song. Every time it comes on, I'm down, but, like, it's one of those songs that, like, if I walk into a place and Loud's playing by Mac Miller, I'm geeked. Nice. But it's not a song that I'm gonna play probably by him. Same with Lucky Ass Bitch anymore, even though it is a good like track and everything. I'm not listening, but like that's why like Desperado is gonna be heavily in my playlist now because it's that good. Thoughts from a Balcony have always been, but it's one of those ones that you go like look back on and it's better than what you expected. Same with Fight the Feeling, even though I've always loved that song. Morning After 1 through 8. Oh, I mean, it's a wedding, you know? But The Question, Angels, and Clarity, like, those ones right there are the ones that, like, stick out to me. So, like, there's a solid 5 songs nowadays that I jam to. But, like, with watching movies, Faces, like, even his early mixtapes, like we said, but, like, Swimming, Circles, like, every song from those albums get played. You know what I'm saying? Divine Feminine, every fucking song gets played. And... yeah, but I will say though that was the craziest thing. Like, the similarities from this mixtape to the Divine Feminine were pretty wild. Oh yeah, pretty wild. Like he's got some like moaning in the Divine Feminine before Skin that I was like, it's still a little tough for me to like let it play. But he did so good at putting it in before the song instead of putting it after, because I think he realized that like maybe like people were skipping it too much. Like after Fight the Feeling and the Lucky Ass Bitch, like that's real fucking crazy. But I do love how he had the balls to put that shit in there. But, bro, thank you again. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend. I hope we did Macadelic the justice it deserves. I also don't want us to sound like we were shitting on it, but we just being honest with it. Like I thought it's a very good listen, but it is like on the lower half for me on like it's one of the more important ones for his career for him to grow. Exactly. But it is on like to re-listen to the whole thing, especially as somebody like me who came up through Relistenables that likes to listen to an entire album start to finish. It's not the most re-listenable one for him, but it is definitely worth the re-listen. I'm still listening to this more than any other.
If you can get your hands on the original mixtape, then it's kind of a different story. The original
mixtape's a better listen.
If you listen to it all the way through, he has so many different skits and things that lead into the other song. It makes it such an easier listen.
It's a Mac vibe.
It's a total Mac vibe, and that's why I'm assuming we're doing this because the original one was super badass, but because of copyrights and things of that nature, they had to remaster it, cut some things out, change some things up. It's just a little more choppy, but the original one, just you're going on a little journey through Willy Wonka's fucking chocolate factory, tripping on shrooms and LSD, and you stop with the Oompa Loompas, take a hit of DMT, maybe a little line of coke, take a sip of beer, and head on your way. And then next thing you know,
you're vibing.
You're vibing. Hey, I like my music real well.
I 100% agree with that, and I like how like. It sounds a little less like professional, even though it sounds professional still. Right. It does kind of sound like he was recording it upstairs sometimes, and like because you can kind of hear like the like some like little background noises or something, like maybe like the air. You know how like air like filters through when we record shit. Like we hear it on this stuff too, but like especially with music, when you really record music, you can like hear how it's not clear. Yeah. But that's what I liked a lot about it. But then they remastered it and it sounds amazing now. But yeah, I would definitely say the 2012 version's a better listen, and you'll probably have a better chance of going on a trip because it has some cool, like we said. It honestly could pass as Faces 1, or Faces could have passed as Macadelic 2. Like the reach.
I like that. That's
you know what I'm saying?
If they would have, that would have been cool if he would have did like late.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, if he would have done like
a series of like
a series of
because like not to be funny here, but like not
did
to
he
keep
ever
going.
do anything like that?
No, because you got to think like Logic does like the Young Sinatra. He's got like 4 Young Sinatras. There's a bunch of artists that do shit like that, like the Blueprint 1, 2, 3. the Carter 1, 2, 3, 4, like Man on the Moon 1, 2, 3, Cuddy. Like there's so many. You know what I'm saying? I wish he kind of would have did that, but at the same time, I love how he just grows. So, but dude, this has been the Relistenables. As always, myself, Stephen Moustaris, Trevor Pfister in the motherfucking building, and R.I.P. Mac Miller. Honestly, thank you for always being the greatest man of all time. I can't believe Macadelic's already 10 years old. So it just makes me feel older and older, even though I feel younger than ever.
That means we have a 10-year high school reunion going.
That I'll probably not go to. Psych, I might go to this year, actually. But
last time,
I didn't show up at the 5. I mean, the 5 year's stupid.
There was like 3 people in.
But seriously, my man, thank you so much. Woo!